since I went carnivore, 3 years, I have noticed that there's essentially no recovery days needed, right? I go to the gym virtually every day. Some days I'll focus on just core and cardio, which is not really cardio, but it helps your lungs, right? Other days I'll do 2-a-days, or I'll play tennis for, doubles, not singles, but doubles for 3 or 4 hours. And most of the guys I play with are younger. They get more tired than I do. I think basically it's not age, it's inflammation, right? So if you can get rid of your inflammation, that basically takes care of the age issue.
Dwight, welcome. Glad to have you. Dwight, tell us, so are you from Idaho?
No, California.
When did you escape? How long have you been in Idaho?
I was laid off by HP in 2016, moved up to Paradise, California. We had that fire a few years ago. We moved up to basically Utah, Idaho area at that time. We've been in Idaho about a year.
How do you like it out there?
Love it. It's just fantastic. All 4 seasons. A little cold in the winter, but there's plenty to do. So.
Gotcha. Tell us a little bit about your background. I know we'll discuss your website that you've got. It's kind of an interesting topic, but just tell us a little bit about your own personal story, if you don't mind.
Sure. Like I said, I was laid off from HP. I worked for them for 30 years in Silicon Valley. I was 65, so I just retired. My youngest son got me into weightlifting at that time. So started going to the gym. He's very strong, very serious about it. I realized that nutrition was a major part of it. So I started doing some investigation, started doing paleo and keto type. About 3 years ago, I was following Jordan Peterson and saw his interview with Joe Rogan, saw you on the Joe Rogan show, went to your website, realized there's just some great stuff here. You have the success stories. You interview both experts as well as, novices like myself, just regular people telling their story. You cite studies. Obviously, the difference between epidemiology and, randomized control trials. You explain that very well. So you basically provide a full set of support services. Anyway, I decided to try carnivore, and that basically trimmed me down. I lost 15 pounds, and going to the gym and being active all the time, that was really helpful. I would say before I did that, I was always active, lots of mountain biking, kayaking, hiking, tennis, softball, that sort of thing. In my job, I had to travel quite a bit, went to China a lot, to Singapore, Europe. And I had some health issues, not anything real major, but like plantar fasciitis, lots of joint pain from all the activity. Had to tape my left foot for years and years every time I went out to play basketball or tennis or anything. Had, tennis shoulder, tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, some rashes and irritable bowel syndrome. My diet was mostly, standard. I did eat quite a bit of grains. I thought, whole grains were healthy. Drank Cokes all the time. Couldn't imagine eating a hamburger without a Coke. Always had the complete combo meal. So when I finally realized nutrition was important, I switched over, and with keto, I started eating a lot of raw broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, snap peas, that sort of thing, lettuce, kale, spinach. Didn't realize about the oxalates and that sort of thing. Once I started on the carnivore diet, I just realized this is what what my body needed. My stomach issues went away over time. All my joint issues went away. I no longer have to tape my foot. No longer get tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, even though I play golf and tennis all the time. Don't get sunburn anymore. I'm trying to get out in the sun all the time, but I basically feel like I'm inflammation free. And I think that has it just changed a lot of the playbook. So sun is not an issue. Plantar fasciitis, rashes. I'll tell you about the rashes in a little bit, how I got rid of those. But I just feel like I go to the gym. I've been to some training sessions, Charles Poliquin and Doug McGuff. So kind of two opposite ends of how to train. And I just feel like I don't have to follow the rest protocols as much, right? Don't need as much rest in between. Don't need carbs before a workout. Don't have to, preload on carbs or anything like that.
Yeah, correct. I'm doing the math, and you said you retired from HP or were let go from HP at 65 in 2016. So that would put you at 71 or 72. I'm assuming. Is that fair? Is that correct?
Yeah, 71.
You look great. You look fantastic. I'm looking at you like this dude does not look like he's 71. I mean, I can see you got the veins sticking out of your shoulder. You can tell you're pretty lean. Got some muscle on you. Good for you, man. That's friggin' awesome. I tell you, I really, really like to see that. Well, you said you were going to mention something about a rash. What's going on with the rash now?
Well, I've had this rash for years, athlete's foot for years. Mm-hmm. Went carnivore, everything else went away except those two things. And I would still get a little bit of cramping in my toes and stuff. I went to see Evan Brand. I don't know if you've talked to him, but he's a functional medicine doctor. I think he was on the Paul Saladino podcast. Anyway, he looks at toxins, parasites, mold, that sort of thing. He did a full blood test on me, all kinds, hormones, all the way to minerals, all that stuff. And he suggested I take charcoal, basically burned coconut shells in little capsules. So I get that from Bulletproof. I started taking that and I stopped eating black pepper. Paul Saladino suggested no black pepper because it's a plant and it has some problems. So the rash went away within a few weeks. Athlete's foot went away. I don't know if it was the pepper or the charcoal, but felt like, okay, maybe that is cleaning out some of the mold and toxins I've, gathered over the years.
Interesting. We just talked to a guest yesterday, Nancy, who had fungal infection of her toenails, and it went away on a carnivore diet as well. So that's pretty interesting to see those things, and why that might be hard to say. If the fungal agent is better able to be cleared when your immune system is working better, perhaps that is. Maybe there's some, maybe some of what we eat. I would assume what we eat ends up in all over our body, including our skin, and it's hard to speculate on that. So you, I guess, started a website or a YouTube channel or something entitled Doctors to Trust or something along those lines. What prompted you to do that?
I've got a couple of loved ones that one was just diagnosed type 2 diabetes a couple of years ago. The other is pre-diabetic. And I wanted to share with them what I've been doing, but you get like one shot at it, right? If you blow it, then they're not going to listen to you anymore. And so I thought, well, what's the best thing I can do? Well, basically, adults want to learn from someone they trust, they have respect for. So I could, like, you interview someone for an hour, get great stuff, like your story with Tabitha a few weeks ago, overcoming her cancer. You had lots of great stories on your website and in video, but if I send someone an hour-long video, that's just not going to work. At one point I sent the obesity code to another loved one, and boy, that backfired big time. She just didn't want to see a book that had obesity in the title. So I thought, if I get into, and this is what I did in my job at HP, if I get into the video, pull out just the key points, make it super short, annotate it, add a PDF so it can be handed off, just the link, or you can hand one sheet to someone. And then if there's a website that has a bunch of videos, like 500, all short, all annotated, all with PDF, and they're searchable, then it's easy to just share one. For example, there's a 7-part, Tabitha's was like a 6-part video, right? It was an hour-long discussion with her. I broke it down into about 6 4-minute videos. Well, I could send the first video It's not overwhelming. It's not intimidating. Someone watches the video for 4 minutes. If they want to see the whole story, they just click at the end and it takes them to the next video in sequence. They can go to the website. They can look all about cancer. There's like 50 videos on cancer. So that was the point. So that actually did work. I sent videos. I'm just a big chicken when it comes to confronting anybody or, trying to influence them. So I just sent the link. The one with the type 2 diabetes, that's been reversed. He goes to the gym now every day. He's lost 90 pounds in the last year. He's been doing intermittent fasting, high protein diet. His trainer's been helping him with that. The other one was pre-diabetic. He's lost 50 pounds. He goes to the gym regularly and is basically carnivore, 80% carnivore.
There is, it's kind of, I'll just put it this way, there is a lot of, information out there and how someone decides to trust someone. How do you trust the information you're getting? I recognize there's information that says the exact opposite of what I say, and people are very confused. How do you personally decide what information is trustworthy? I mean, it's somebody would say, hey, this Dr. Baker guy or this Ken Berry guy, they're nuts. They're crazy. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just going to get you killed. What is it that makes you make a decision that you would trust someone like myself over, someone like, I don't know, Dr. Michael Greger from the vegan side of it? What is it? What differentiates that for you?
To me, the key thing is, do you cite serious research? I have a PhD. I know how to read studies. I know how to tell a bogus study or a corrupt use of science versus not. At least I think I do. You cite studies, and if it's epidemiological or a survey, you just did this the other day, then you point that out and you say, this is a hypothesis. That's all we can draw from this. We can't draw causation. And so you can learn from this, and then you can actually do a serious science on it, randomized control trial, repeat that, have different scientists do it, different researchers, yourself, others, Ben Bickman, et cetera. And then right? At least it's to some level of confidence. And the level of confidence, you can read the study. So basically, I just say, all right, there's a few dozen doctors and researchers and medical practitioners who use that type of approach. And that's who I trust. If it's someone that, like Ansel Keys, no, I'm just kidding. If it's someone like the Plant Paradox author, I can't think of his name, but just misuse science basically. And
that'd be Stephen Gundry is the Plant Paradox guy, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even look at his videos. It just, anyone that takes that view into science is not being objective. So you're very upfront. You read a study, you keep it a short video, like 3 minutes. Here's the study, here's the results, here's the data, here are the participants, here's the probability, confidence level, that sort of thing, and let people decide. And then so that's one thing. The other thing is, do you have a clinic? Have you done it on yourself? Do you share clinical results? So Ben Bickman does research in his BYU lab, shares his results. Ken Berry has actually he's a practitioner. Adam McNally in Arizona, other doctors, they're actually still, like Nadir Ali and others, they're still doing work with their patients, and they share that. To me, that's very credible as well.
Yeah, again, I think when it comes to nutrition science, I think the whole entire field is, unfortunately, it's very challenging to do good science in that field. And I think the majority of the research out there is not particularly helpful. Like you said, most of it's hypothesis generated. There's very few studies that I would say, actually, you can say this is actually good data with an actual hard clinical endpoint that matters to me. And that I'm actually represented in the cohort that was in the study, because a lot of these studies are like, it's not me. Why would I care about this study? Not me. And so you're left kind of with clinical results. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, again, it's something that, you have to verify it yourself. I tell people, hey, you can listen to me. Don't trust me at my word. Try it on yourself and make sure it works for you. I think that's ultimately the test that's going to stand the test of time. So, as far as you said 20, I can't remember when you started. You've been on this carnivore diet or low carb approach for quite a while now. And one thing that you said that was interesting to me as an athlete, I'm not quite as old as you, but I'm closer to 60 than I am 50. And I find that my recovery is excellent. I mean, I have no problem. I really did a workout right before this a few minutes ago. I'll probably do a second one later today, and I'll have another 45-minute break. I'll sneak another one in there, and I got pretty most days, and I really have no trouble with recovery. What was that surprising to you, as somebody who's now 70 plus years of age, that you could still train on a regular basis? Because the typical admonishment we get for training when you're older is you need to slow down, you need to cut back on the intensity, you need to rest 3 times as long, and I don't believe that's necessarily true. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it is surprising to me. I was not a serious weightlifter until 6 years ago, so I don't really have a lot of experience with it. My son taught me, all the basics. But since I went carnivore, 3 years, I have noticed that there's essentially no recovery days needed, right? I go to the gym virtually every day. Some days I'll focus on just core and cardio, which is not really cardio, but it helps your lungs, right? Other days I'll do 2 a days, or I'll play tennis for, doubles, not singles, but doubles for 3 or 4 hours. And most of the guys I play with are younger. They get more tired than I do. I think basically it's not age, it's inflammation, right? So if you can get rid of your inflammation, that basically takes care of the age issue, in my opinion. Now, let's say you do super slow sets like Doug McGuff, John Little would recommend. That affects your rest. It affects your breathing during the exercise. It affects maybe your nutrition. Or if you do Charles Poliquin or some other, Athlete X or something that's more for athletes, that's a whole different approach. Well, I think virtually everybody out there who's not carnivore thinks you need extra rest and you need carbs. Well, those 2 things are not needed. So you just have to kind of go with your own playbook.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement to say. And I also am a proponent of a wide variety of different strategies for athleticism and strength building. And I employ a whole range of sets and rep ranges and, intensities and tempos for slow or fast. And I think it works quite well. What about, have you noticed anything either cognitively or mental health wise, mood wise, any changes going from a higher carb approach to a lower carbohydrate carnivore approach?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm learning Chinese. I've been learning it for 20 years because I used to go to China all the time, and I wanted to travel on my own around. It's got some beautiful, beautiful mountains and stuff. So I can remember that easier than I used to. I think one telltale sign is my dreams. Before, I just had dreams, couldn't remember them, weren't that particularly long or detailed. Now, my sleep is 100% better. I could sleep 10 hours every night, no problem. Don't have to worry about blue light blockers and all that stuff. And my dreams are just in Technicolor and they last a long time. I mean, it's kind of a strange thing, but I wake up and I think, I can remember my 3 dreams. I can remember all the details. It was realistic. It might help me solve a problem that I'm working on. To me, that's a sign that, okay, something really has changed.
So today, what does your personal diet look like today? Is it 2 meals a day, once a day? How often are you eating? What are you eating? What's that look like?
Well, my philosophy is keep it as simple and low stress as possible. So I never count calories or macros or time for fasting or anything like that. A typical day, if I'm at home, I travel quite a bit, but if I'm at home, go to the gym in the morning, either play tennis or work out, and I'll take supplements beforehand. And the supplements I take are almost all desiccated beef organs, blood, lard, heart, that sort of thing. A little bit of nitric oxide, and that's basically it. I take these charcoal tablets. So I might eat a scar. I don't know if you're familiar with scar, but it's like yogurt, but it's from Iceland.
Oh yeah, yeah. SKIR. I always SKYR. I think I pronounce it skyr, but I don't know how you pronounce it. Maybe it's scar. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, it's very low sugar. Well, most of it is very low sugar, and you can get high fat, like triple cream is one of my favorites. So you're getting, maybe 15 grams of protein, 9 or 10 grams of fat, and it's down, 7 or 8 grams of carbs. So, and I might eat a little dish of that and take my supplements, get my pre-workout drink, which is collagen and BCAAs and that sort of thing. Just pretty basic. But I feel like, okay, I'm super active. I'm a little older. I'm new to weightlifting. I try to go to failure quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I need something besides just the carnivore. Get home, noon, 1 o'clock. Then I'll have usually steak and eggs, bacon and eggs, or sausage and eggs. And then if I don't feel like that's enough protein, because I'm trying to get 60 grams of protein in one bolus twice a day. That's my goal from what Gabriel Lyon has said and Don Lehman. So I might drink some of Ben Bickman's health coach shake. I just find that's the best because it's the right balance of fat and protein. So I try to make sure I get at least 60 grams of protein at that point. And then I don't eat again until evening, maybe 7 o'clock, and usually have steak or hamburgers or try to have salmon once a week, something like that. If I feel like a dessert, then I'll have another cup of scar with some blackberries and whipping cream. Whipping cream is virtually no sugar, and blackberries very, very low carb. That's basically the plants that I eat is blackberries. If I'm traveling, what I typically do is same sort of time scale because I'm trying to go to the gym all the time or whatever. I'll usually just go after, so let's say 1 o'clock, I'll go have a hamburger, try to go to Carl's Jr., Wendy's, or another place that has quality beef, to some level of quality. Just have a double or triple cheeseburger without the bun, without any stuff added. Add bacon, and again, I might drink some protein drink if I think it's needed. And then in the evening, have steak or salmon or something. If I'm at if I'm traveling and go to a gas station, now they mostly have, if you go to one like a Maverick or a truck stop, they'll have deli sections that have lots of great cheeses and meats that I think are fine. It doesn't bother me that if it's processed a little bit. So like prosciutto and provolone, little packages, or sliced pepperoni or salami and cheese. It's just much more convenient than just a couple of years ago, even.
Are you still seeing a physician? Do you have a physician that you see on a regular basis? Are you concerned about heart disease? Obviously, you're eating a lot of saturated fat and animal products, and we're all being told that that's going to give us an immediate heart attack. Any concerns around that for you?
Not really, no. I don't have a regular doctor anymore. I'm on Medicare now, but I just haven't had the need. I have seen, like, I belong to Insulin IQ. I belong to you guys. Was seeing Adam Nally in Arizona for a while, and Evan Brand. So there are options out there, right? Not very expensive. You can get into a community like you have at Revero.com. I did a blood test a year ago. I just did a blood test a couple months ago, and my HDL is fine. I can't remember what it is, but it's pretty high. It's much more than my triglycerides, and I know, you want it to be at least equivalent to that. My LDL is a little high. Creatinine is a little high, which I don't worry about those things. Everything else is pretty much okay. Vitamin D, iron, magnesium, copper, all that stuff is okay.
And your blood pressure normal as far as you know?
Yeah, as far as I know, it's always been that way lately.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. And As far as I don't know, you said you have a son that's working out. Any other family members? Anybody disagree with what you're doing in the immediate family or extended family?
No, I've got two brothers that have started doing this, and one nephew. He's a physical therapist, always been a strong guy, marathoner. So that was kind of natural for them to follow. Everybody else is fine with it, but not too many are joining in. And, I don't, unless they're diagnosed with cancer or, diabetes or something, I'm not too concerned. I mean, it would be great if they would follow it, but it's very, very awkward, as you know, to bring up to someone if they're a little overweight, or if you think they're coughing or have some, plantar fasciitis. Oh, I did have a loved one with plantar fasciitis. I sent some videos from, I think, Ken Berry and can't remember who else. And that kind of didn't go over so well, but then later they decided to start trying it out. So, it's kind of a hit and miss.
Yeah, it's interesting with the plantar fasciitis, and it's a very common thing. And surprisingly, I treated it for many, many years as an orthopod. And, stretching and anti-inflammatories and night splints and so on and so forth. I think the efficacy for that was kind of minimal. And it found that it's changing diet often dramatically improves that, which I thought was kind of a real eye opener to me. As far as, I was thinking about how lucky I am, because everybody that I meet these days, particularly in a capacity of like a consultation, they actually want to change. I mean, they're there to see me because they've already made the decision to want to change. And so you're right, trying to get somebody who may not want to change, they're just not they're not quite miserable enough yet that they're going to make that decision where they're going to give up those favorite foods and, or at least cut back on their favorite foods, is a tough ask for many people. And, it's kind of seeing the craziness that's out there with more and more people getting sicker and sicker. I'm going to talk about this later today, with a study on antidepressants and how they dramatically increased over the last even 5 years from 2016. Like the number of prescriptions for antidepressants in the UK was up 40%, which is you think about it, 40% increase in the antidepressant prescriptions in a matter of 4 or 5 years is incredibly bizarre. Yeah. What other things would you like to share with this time? Anything else you want to let people know about? Maybe how to find that website you produce, or that is it a YouTube channel or a website or both? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's both. I could just show you the website if. Yeah. So first of all, this is basically my retirement mission. It's free. There's no ads. There's no profit. Mm-hmm. No, mm-hmm. I'm not selling merchandise. It's just a hobby I have. I try to make one video a day.
Yeah.
There's about 520 or so. If you go to doctors, then of course you can pick any of the doctors that I think I trust. For example, you. Okay. And you can just see the videos that I've posted over the last while. You have about 65 or so.
Wow, I mean, I'm pretty prolific.
Yeah, you're way up there, that's for sure. And you were the first one I realized was telling the truth. Topics. So, for example, cancer. That's been one. I have a loved one that has cancer, and you can't believe it's one of the top cancer hospitals in the world, and what they're telling her to do, and the kind of food they have in the cafeteria, you can imagine. So I've tried to make quite a few on cancer lately. There's just different topics, seed oils, inflammation, etc.
Yeah, that looks like a good resource for people to learn some stuff. That's really.
Yeah, if you can, if you like me, I think I've got one shot with a person, a loved one or a friend or something, and say, okay, I want to do it right. You can do some research yourself. So they realize, okay, at least you did some research. And here's a 4-minute video, or here's a 1-page thing. And then I'm not going to bother you anymore. So that's basically the idea. And then they can go hear themselves if they're interested. So those are the two main areas. There's highlighted videos. So every week I send out a newsletter. Rick Montrose in Logan, Utah helps me with it. And so these are a little more descriptive. You can see it has the beginnings of the description, and this is what goes into the PDF for each video. So these are the ones that go out in the newsletter. I try to do a recent series plus a classic old video from last year, say. And then recent videos. So this is just a list of all the videos as they're published. So here's yesterday's animal protein, a woman named Ashley Van Houten, that was interviewed by you a couple of days ago. I thought that was a great story. So, and if you just scroll down, again, you start to, you can go to the website, you can print the PDF. You can collect a bunch of PDFs, make your own little booklet. If you want to get into it, there's quite a bit of resources here.
Very nice.
Then the final thing is these little infographics that I make cards out of. You could print it. You could download these, print them into little posters if you find them helpful at all. For example, this one, 1980s U.S. government food pyramid, 1980s to today, what that has done for obesity across different countries. And then I have a little cutesy little saying, and that's basically just a marketing thing for the website. But
nice. I like it. Very awesome.
Okay, so that's basically it. Yeah, so yeah. Oh, you can also, let me just go, how do I get out of this? If you go to the very last area, you can do a search. So up here in the top, let's say we want to do cancer. And we want to combine that with fasting. See if that gives us a hit. Okay, no results for that combination. Obviously, I didn't prepare this ahead of time. So
you didn't put a space between the words. Maybe that's why.
Oh, maybe so. Okay. So just as an example, gout. So if any of the videos in their description, which is all the key points that the speakers are making, if this keyword comes up in any of that area or the title, then it'll be in this list. So you can see there's about 16 videos on gout. So that's how it works. You can search on anything.
So Dwight, let me just ask you for my, your job when you worked for HP Hewlett Packard. I mean, did you do a lot of software design, or what was your expertise in?
I was a teacher, so I would go to the factories. That's why I went to China so much. And I would teach them about supply chain management. So how to run their factories efficiently so it wouldn't have to close down. So I felt like, okay, I'm helping people keep their job. And of course, I'm dealing with engineers and managers. They don't really want to be in a class, right? They've got their projects to do. So had to do a lot of case studies, application to their job. I had to do homework ahead of time, had them do homework. So I had to be very applied, very focused, no fluff, none of that stuff. So
your position was not a computer person particularly. You were more on the business side, I assume.
I just use the computer to make videos and to make the teaching materials. Yeah.
I see. Very interesting. Well, this is a great little resource. Thanks for presenting it. Thanks for putting it together. What's the name of this website? It's doctorstotrust.com, or what is the name of that?
Yeah. So this is doctorstotrust.com. And that's it. If you want to look at just the videos, you go to the YouTube. It's Doctors to Trust. It's on Rumble. I'm just starting on Instagram and LinkedIn to put the videos there.
Very nice. Well, I appreciate that. Well, that's awesome. What else was I going to say? Is there anything else you'd like to share before we go? Is there anything else any other message you want to get out there to people that might be, I don't know, questioning their health or looking for a look? Maybe they're lost and don't know what to do.
Yeah, I would say go to Revero.com. The most compelling thing, I think, for a beginner is to see some of the success stories. And if you can find someone that's like you in your country with your challenging situation or your sex, your age, find out what they did. And your website is very searchable also. they can find just the right videos. Or my website, or Insulin IQ is another good one, and there are others, of course.
Awesome. Dwight, thank you very much, for putting that resource together and sharing your story. And it's great to see you're an example of someone in their early 70s that looks like they're on the right track for a healthy retirement, and the quote unquote so-called golden years, which for many people aren't very golden because they're giving away all their gold maybe to the doctors. But good for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, rest of you folks, we'll see you later. We'll be back tomorrow. Well, actually, we got another one this afternoon. I got another interview this afternoon, so we'll see you back this afternoon if you guys are here to join. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye bye now.